Welcome back. It's your boy Damn Deal in the Black Evolution. Ladies and gentlemen, season 3 premiere. Getting into it. We're gonna have two special guests, and we're gonna have two topics: being pro-black, scamming, and Lil Nas X craziness. Let's get into it. In the building. Hey, 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 hey. All right, so I have not one, but two special guests in the building. We got Mr. Kid Clutch. Give him a shout out, Mr. Kid Clutch.
What's good?
Yep, and we got another special guest. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got another special guest in the building, Mr. Keith from JCSU. Give him a shout out, brother.
Man, we in the building, man. What's up?
All right. Let's get into it. So let's talk about number one topic about being pro-black. So we got a lot of talking to do about, the whole Black Lives Matter situation and everything else and being pro-black in general. But now you got all these scammers and race hustlers. You got people like Dr. Umar Johnson and all these other scammers out here. And then also you got the Black Lives Matter lady. She's nothing more than a woke pimp and a race hustler buying that house outside the community. So I want to get Kid Clutch Productions' thoughts on that, and then Keith's thoughts. What's your thoughts on this whole?
First of all, I want to say it's good to be here with both my boys, Dad and Dad, and my boy Keith. Like a family reunion. I say none of y'all. Well, what I want to say is, I'm race hustling and just scamming is at an all-time high, and this shit gotta stop because it's like you don't know who the hell to believe now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen people from just regular. Remember we did the Amway shit, and people was trying to scam us from that. Then I see every time I go on my Instagram page, I see a bunch of people following me saying, "Oh, they do forex, they do this, and they
do Bitcoin, getting that Bitcoin."
Yeah, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And I'm like, these niggas don't look like they know how to do this shit. Why the fuck am I trust you to give me some advice on how to invest? You're not even a pro yourself. Well, I mean, it looks like you're gonna be on that level, but it's like, to me, it's like you gotta know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're selling the product, you gotta make the product. You gotta make me believe that the product works.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sell me a broken product and think I'm just gonna say, "Hey, you can't sell me. You can't sell me a bullshit pitch and think I'm gonna buy a broken product." It just don't work like that. If you gonna be a hustler, at least know how to bullshit your way through to even hustle.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen people when they all have, it's not creative about it. Every time they come, I forgot about another one I had in high school. I had a bunch of people from my high school. They called me and said, "Well, do you want to make some extra money?" I'm like, "Hey, make some extra money doing what?" And they was like, "It's this thing called Legal Shield." And it's like, this is basically, they never really explained what it was for me to even join it. And I'm like, what am I joining? What am I getting out of it? And one person, they tried to use the race card on me. They was like, well, you being black and stuff, you wanna have that on site just in case the cops and stuff stop you. You have legal defense to help you in that. I'm like, I don't need that. They telling me, they told me, come join this, and you gotta if you get X amount of people to come on, you get this amount of commission. I'm like, so you telling me I gotta do this, but I still gotta work a 9 to 5, plus do this shit, and I'm not getting that much out of the pot? I'm like, what the fuck do you think? I look dumb, right? Like, it's like, And I had multiple. It was so crazy. I had multiple people calling me and texting me about this shit. The same thing. So they, with the legal shield thing, is they did it so much to where when I seen the text and they say you want to make some extra money, I said this is legal shield, right? And they started saying, how you know about that? I was like, man, only 10 people hit me up about that. So it's like, it's the thing about, I feel like this era is like, nobody is really original. A lot of people is not original. Because everybody is trying to do this, ride the same wave. And it's like, you can't keep riding that same wave for that long because it's gonna, when it ends, everybody's going to be fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
So that after that, you remember we went to do something, it was called the Amway.
Yeah.
And what they was, it never really got to the concept of what they wanted you to sell or what business industry they were actually in.
Yeah, they just kept saying, "Oh, we gonna give you more income and not pay bills and die. And you're gonna be an entrepreneur. We giving businesses. We have all these companies we support, and they ain't give us no business plan or nothing. It was just like it looked like a pyramid scheme."
And all they kept doing was like, if you come to this meeting, you'll find out that I leave from we went to 3 meetings. And I don't know about you, but every time I left, I was even more dumbfounded by stuff.
Yeah.
I left the meeting. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, they keep saying, "Oh, just go to this meeting, go to this meeting, go to that meeting." I'm like, we've been doing these damn meetings. Give us some more information, like God.
And it's like, what the fuck is this? It's like, they keep scheming. And then there's another guy. It's another one I want to tell people about too is, you got, for producers, you got fake producers. They're selling guides on how to sell beats, but they never actually get to the root of how to sell them. All they're doing is telling you, they're teaching you how to sell the guide, but they're not teaching you how to sell beats.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured out on the scam with one guy, and I confronted him on it, and he got pissed off. And I was like, yeah, I see. I caught on to the game. I see you don't actually sell beats to artists. You're selling the guys to other producers. Mm-hmm. So I had to drop that shit. And I'm saying what scamming is crazy. What makes scamming so crazy is that it all has this sick pattern. Is that the ends never justify the means in any kind of way.
Yeah.
Everything is short term. Nothing is long term.
Yeah.
It's like they're not teaching you how scammers. They're teaching you how to finesse people, but it's not teaching you how to keep people coming back to buy your stuff. So it's like, you ever seen a person that's on the run all the time?
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're trying to figure out how they're gonna bullshit their way out of something they did to somebody probably a year ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or even 5 days ago. But they don't know how. They never have it together. It's day by day, they trying to figure out how they're gonna scheme their way out of something else. And that's how I feel like all these scams were.
Yeah.
They never justified the means.
Mm-hmm.
You was more confused after talking to the person than you were before you went in it. It's like you never learned anything. It was like a waste of time.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you on that. Yeah, Tyler, I agree with you on that, my brother. Like all that stuff about the scams and it's nonsense. I think there was another scam that's at our school called 4X. They said, "Oh yeah, get on that 4X, brother. Get on that 4X, brother. Yeah, you're not gonna get a Cooper job. Get off a Cooper job."
You know what my problem with that is that if you're trading currency and all that, why aren't you showing people how to do that? Is that you're trying to get people to sign up so you can get your commission.
Mm-hmm.
And I with these things is why are y'all so focused on getting commission instead of focused on teaching somebody how to get the money? Because that's the real hustle. That's legit hustling.
Yeah.
It's even illegit hustling, like with drug dealers. They teach you how to sell the product. They teach you how to keep the people coming.
Yeah.
To make the product. They don't teach you how to basically finesse the person out of their money, because if you want somebody to buy a product from you, You have to build trust.
Yeah.
You have to build loyalty to where they keep coming back for what you're selling.
Yeah.
They have to like what you're selling. But what this whole situation is, okay, if I get commission off this one person, they're not, after they pay me commission for that, they're not going to keep paying me because they're going to figure out this, they're not getting what they paid for.
Yeah.
So it's like you're fucking yourself up.
Yes.
You got to go to the next person.
Yes, hustling backwards.
So it's a scam. These pyramid schemes, they're tying into like these Ponzi schemes.
Yeah.
It's like you can never get your return on investment. You have to scam the next person. Just eat.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the fuck would you want to do that?
Yeah, it's craziness. So Keith, man, what's your thoughts on that, brother?
Man, Kid Clutch almost done wrapped it up, didn't he?
Yeah, man, the whole scamming is it's just we tired of that. But I just want to get your personal thoughts on that, man.
Alright, well, for starting the pro-black thing, I already know if I tag like my social media, they gonna see I got a white girlfriend, so I know they gonna call me a coon off rip for speaking out on something like this called being pro-black. But personal thoughts is, I think, being pro-black, we know it is. You gotta uplift, encourage the black community, put your money in towards it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people is doing that, but I think, like you said, there's a lot of scammers like in the game that are really messing it up for a lot of us. And it's just like I said, you mentioned that you're Umar Johnson earlier, right?
Yeah.
And he is, definitely, but he did bring up a point. He was talking about the church. And he was talking about, most of our money in the black community, depending on where you live at, a lot of money you pay towards the church, like your tithes, whatever, how much money you put in. But where does that money go to help us? Like that. And I just feel like that, where does that go? Like, does it keep the church afloat? I guess it keeps the building afloat, but we're not pouring it back into the community. Like, there's still poor people on the street, like down the street where I'm from, but we got money for church.
That's true.
Like, and as far as being like a scammer, like, I don't understand how you can be black and knowing that you're scamming, it's sketchy, but you're gonna go ahead and try to scam some other people that you either don't know or possibly do know, and they're black, and you just basically just took probably like either $200 or $300, depending on what the scam is on. There is a variety of scams, like you said, like Forex and all that stuff, which you can make money from. Not denying that you can't make money, but you also can just look up on YouTube how to learn how to trade. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
But hey, I was doing that too, and I'm saying my friend was scamming me, but after I was like, yo, can I just look this up like on like YouTube and just figure out how to do it myself, which I did. I'm not currently doing it, but that's just one little part of it. And I just think that, I think social media has really given a lot of power to these scammers, unfortunately. And I think that if we didn't have it, like back in like 2000s, not like early 2000s, I feel like most of these problems wouldn't really come to light because you can, like you said, I can get on Instagram right now and somebody's going to try to scam me. Someone trying to scam me right now on my phone.
Yeah.
Text message. And I just don't get it. Like, I'm up being pro-black, I shop at my best friend's brother. He got his own little clothing line. He does a bunch of other stuff, and I shop with him. But, it's kind of hard to find a black grocery store. I don't know and it's different up here in Michigan as North Carolina, but I'm not sure you're going to find a black grocery store just roaming around. But it's also hard because, being pro-black, like having like a grocery store or something like that. Back in the day, we had a Black Wall Street. They try to make a new one down in Georgia. I think it's at the mall. I don't know if y'all heard about that.
Yeah, I heard of that recently.
Yeah. So, it's a little different, but I think that the black people it's weird. I feel like we're dealing with a different kind of black person nowadays. Like, back in the day, it felt like back in the day, even though it was worse, like we were, it was racism, we really couldn't eat, with white people, such and such. But I feel like back in the day, and I was talking to my pops about this, like last week or something like that, he says, you know what, as messed up as it seems, as messed up as it is to say, he said back in the day that we were all segregated, he said, black people were more stronger together. They said, we were all fighting for the same thing. He said, but now that we done got integrated and such, which has its benefits, I'm not going to deny that, but, I think people have lost sight of, like, what the goal is, in all honesty.
Yeah.
You said that right. I want to piggyback off of what you said, but that is what you say with being black. It's harder to be black today because you really don't know. You're fighting so many things with being black. You're fighting racist whites. You're fighting the white supremacist system. You're fighting other blacks. You're fighting crime. You're fighting just scammers.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, you don't know what direction to look.
Yeah.
Going on. And then it's like when certain black people try to do stuff and you try to get them to come together and do it, it's like they want to tear down the movement.
Yeah.
And it's like with black businesses, like he said, his dad said, black people were better off before we integrated because black people, they had more power as far as with their economics.
Mm-hmm.
Because they control more, they had their own neighborhoods, they had their own grocery stores, they had their own stuff, basically, their own houses.
Yeah.
Now, like they said, black people have less than 1% of the wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Last time we had 1% of the wealth was when slavery ended.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? It's like, I feel in the same way is, I think what fucked up a lot of shit with the black community is stuff that happened between the 70s and 80s is that we lost out, a lot of the black leaders and stuff lost their way.
Yeah.
Because for the goal in the 50s and 60s and before that was to get blacks equal treatment.
Yeah.
And fight for equality. But now I feel like in today's culture, where it's trickled down to was more black people is more acceptance now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, why the fuck are we worrying about acceptance? It's like, if you have your own bread and shit, it's like the acceptance will come with all that.
Yeah.
It's like we need to get back to that goal of building equality and building generational wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And building out, becoming more self-sufficient. Because if you look at, I may sound like a broken record with this, I always say this, is that if you look at like in the 50s and 60s, the people that was funding these black movements was basically black families.
Mm-hmm.
You had the fathers a lot of times, they worked in factories, farming, and other things that they were able to take care of their families. If you look at now with what's going on with minimum wage, child care, all this stuff, it's like black people, a lot of black people, and poor people too, they're more dependent on the government system because they gave up their self-sufficiency for acceptance. Now you have the same thing Martin Luther King was fighting for the night before he died, we're still fighting for today.
Yeah.
Because we have no access to actual power. We got influence, but we lack power.
Mm-hmm. With that power and control. And I was talking about, there was a documentary recently that came out yesterday. And it was about basically Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali. And how they were pro-black, they were uncompromising, they were themselves. They didn't care about acceptance. They didn't care about any of that. They were just strictly themselves. Muhammad Ali said, "I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest." Yeah, Malcolm X saying, "Hey, stop singing and start swinging and everything. Get black businesses going and everything else." And they were uncompromising. I feel like now today you don't have black people that's uncompromising. You have people who just want acceptance and diversity and everything else. They just want to be accepted by everybody. They don't want to actually support their own.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah, I got a question. Do you think, like, let's say, like, our specific famous leaders, do you think that, like, if we had, Malcolm X and we looked and we had MLK and they were alive at this very thing, let's say, like, they woke up from the grave and they could lead in present time right now, do you think that they would actually be happy with how the state of their people is? Or
nope.
Would they be disappointed?
They would be disappointed.
I fully agree. They'd be disappointed because, he was, MLK was, here's the thing is, he was about, how we got to get treated equal. But the thing is that people only remember, like, the, non-violent, version of him. But most people don't really talk about, towards the end of his life, he was kind of like, yeah, this shit got to stop, bro. And this shit's got to stop. And that's when they were like, all right, well, you're talking about, fighting back. So as soon as you start talking about fighting back, you know how it goes. They had to
Yep.
Yeah, they had to get rid of them.
Had to give it to him. And I was going to piggyback on what you said, talking about the 70s and the 80s, talking about farming and being the factory. Back in the day, we used to, and this kind of was very detrimental to the community, was that back in the day, before they changed everything, you could graduate like from high school in certain states, and you can graduate, as a licensed, like, plumber, electrician, a bunch of jobs. And, these are skills, that pay the bills,
Yeah.
If I graduate from, I'm a plumber, shit, I can always have some bread on me because there's always a job looking for me to do something. But but as soon as they took that away, and then, they wanted to send us to college. Now, ain't nothing wrong with college because, it's ironic. If I didn't go to college, we wouldn't be having this, little podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? But I feel like that was very detrimental because, now it's like the concept of generational wealth. There's still ways to proportion generational wealth, but back in the day, you go get a job, or as soon as you get out of a job, you already pouring in money at the age of 18.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
It's just, that's all I was gonna say. I just feel like it's weird because, like you said, they'd be disappointed. Like, yeah, because I was talking to my friend like today because I don't know if y'all talked about, you heard about the new mandate they trying to pass down from the president like yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I told one of my friends, I don't know his name, but I was talking to him. And I was like, they're organizing a rally like in New York City. That's also having to organize one in Georgia, down in Atlanta. And so I said to him, I'm like, yo, we need to organize that shit here in Detroit. Like, we're one of the biggest cities in the world and also one of the blackest cities in the world. And so I said, you trying to organize it with me? And he was like, he said, LOL, what is that gonna do? And I just like looked at it. I just like slapped my forehead and I was like, this is exactly the kind of stuff I'll be talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, instead of saying, oh, what's it going to do, bro? You need to do something else. Like, for one, what are you doing? And secondly, it's better than just sitting there and just letting it happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a lot with a lot of black people, too, is like, I think black people have lost the fight. Like you said, they're way more accepting. Like, sure, we're not in, chains per se, but there are still people that are still chained up mentally. And I think that's, I said it definitely got compromised, more accepting.
And that's the problem I have with people because it's like they've gotten so complacent.
Yeah.
Like if you think about it now, it's like actually perfect example. And I'm from New York. Is I think the whole mindset in New York is kind of shifted to where you would think like people would try to stereotype the Southerners. I feel like in New York, this shit kind of goes a lot because, like, corporations, they run a lot of shit. So, where people in New York is, they talk a lot of shit and stuff, and they always saying they're protesting, but as soon as the cops and stuff come out there, they don't want to stay out there. They go and run. They like, I don't want to lose my job. And I'm like, why the fuck did y'all think like that? It's like, America's got its problems and shit, but it's like you got a lot of places you can move and migrate to where want to really express yourself, you can go and do it.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you always fear that, well, I'm going to lose my job, or have fear of this and that?
Or I'm going to jail and stuff like that. Or I'm going to jail.
It's like, if you have an opinion on something, just say it. That's just why, like, I feel like cancel culture is swept up.
Mm-hmm.
Like the world, because it's like, people, they don't have an opinion because they gave up their right to freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like with black people is when we integrated, we traded everything that we own to be accepted. And I believe that's the wrong way to go. We can have it all. We can integrate, but still maintain our independence.
Mm-hmm.
We can have our own businesses while also shopping at other communities and also have other communities come to our businesses.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with black people is they don't want to do that. I want to go to Gucci. I want to go to Louis. I want to go to H&M and shop. And it's like, those places are cool, but it's like, they're going to spend all this money in those communities, but they're going to spend it within their own.
Yeah.
When I go and talk, like I talk to some black people, other black people about this too, and they get offended. And I say, well, look, I said, man, the problem with a lot of this stuff that goes on is that there's not a lot of that people don't invest in black businesses and support them a lot. They say, well, there ain't no black businesses. I said, because y'all don't want to support. It's like black person comes and they have an idea, and they try to form something and do something. You knock it before it even takes off the ground, like you said. And it's like you can't think like that. It's like they knock the product, and I remember Master P. He said it one time on an interview he did with the Breakfast Club. He said he started a noodles company making noodles, and he said the first thing some of the black people said was, "Oh, is the noodles salty?" He's like, "You want to ask a white person that?" And I feel like it's the same way. It's like you put expectations on blacks that you wouldn't put on other communities. And I feel it's like this. You have a certain standard on it. I feel like in our community now is that it's become, they want perfection. And society is turned into that too. You want the perfect girlfriend, you want the perfect boyfriend, you want the perfect husband, perfect wife, perfect product, perfect job. It's like nothing in this world is perfect. It's like if you want, I have more respect for a person to where they say, well, I don't, even though you're a black business and I don't really rock with your product and not, but I'm going to help you promote your business. I'm going to tell other people to come and support it, because this may not be my particular thing that I or the store I shop at, but I want to make sure it's successful. I'd rather you do that. And it's like black people, they act like when it's time for you to promote a business or promote anything, it's like they act like it's a burden. And it's not. You shouldn't feel like it's a burden. You should feel like it's an obligation, because it's like when you have something you want to promote, you can't get mad when other people don't want to promote it, because it's like you didn't show the same support. And like it don't cost you a dime to promote anything. It don't cost you a dime to support. It don't cost you a dime to do a lot of these things. It's just you got to be creative. Your mind has to use your brain. With things, it's like that's my problem with. I feel like we don't progress as a community, because even where we went to school in John C. Smith, I walk around. It's supposed to be a black neighborhood, but if you think about all the businesses on the block, they're not owned by blacks. They owned by whites. They owned by Arabs, all kind of people, but no blacks. And it's like I feel like even with our school, in a way, I love the school, but it's like I felt like y'all allowed this to happen, because had y'all advocated for more black businesses and more progression, and y'all would have bought up a lot of this land, this wouldn't be going on. And that's how I feel with the black church too. I have a problem is, okay, if you look at the anywhere black people at, they never get their own communities. They always get the second hand. Is what the whites don't want anymore. They throw it at you. So, okay, why is it that black communities, they're always crime infested? It's always drug addicts walking around. It's always infrastructure in the roads are not sturdy. It's always like potholes in the streets. It's like, why is that? You know why? Because we sit there, we take it. It's like, why the fuck can we not take control of the shit and put our own people in there and demand what the fuck we want? Like, it's like, this one thing I agree with Umar Johnson on too is like with black people when they vote, it's like they go vote for a candidate, but they don't demand a damn thing from them. Just support. And it's like if you tell them what the fuck you want and you make demands and say if you don't do this, we ain't gonna support you, or we gonna put money to run somebody else against you that's gonna do the shit we want, we'll be in a better place. And that's why I feel with Martin Luther King when he was living is that Martin Luther King, he had no loyalty to one candidate or even one party or one anything. His only loyalty was for the progression of blacks. And poor people. And I feel like that's what we lost sight at, is that you have a lot of people that yell they want or even want to protest, but they don't have an end game on what they want to do. And it's basically everybody wants the same thing. It's just how do we get there? You don't have like one leader anymore that can tell you how we all can put everything that we want and get everything we want.
Yeah.
I feel like when it comes to black people, it's always they telling you to compromise.
Yeah, they tell you to bow down. They tell you to bow down. They tell you to compromise and kiss people's ass and everything. And just go on the buy and buy.
Yeah, even in the workforce, they try to tell black people they want you to take the Negro tech. They want you to take the Negro position.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to, even at schools, like you look at what goes on. I think you and I, some friends was talking about this the other week. And if you think about in Congress, they're sitting here clapping because they gave black colleges millions of dollars. It's like, why are y'all only stopping in? We should have got billions like those white colleges.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we would be able to progress. But I feel like black people at times, not all of them, but some of them, they have this mindset as we got to be grateful for this and that. Hell no. If you work hard for it, it ain't nothing to be grateful for.
Yeah.
That's your shit. You earned it. And I feel like we always told to take the bare minimum. It's like they always tell you, you got to work twice as hard to get half as much.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why is that? Why is it still, why we are, as a people, worse than we were in the 50s and 60s? You know why? Because there's lack of black families. There's lack of black leadership.
Yep, that's what I was going to get into. Strong black leadership in the home.
That's all I got to say on that topic.
Yeah, I was going to get into that with the whole black male leadership. I was thinking about this earlier on this week. I said, what is the problem in the black community? Why is all these gamers exist? I said, you know why? Because there's lack of black male leadership. We don't have any Malcolm X's. We don't have any Dr. Kings. We don't have any Muhammad Ali's anymore. Now we got a bunch of bootlicking Negroes who just want to kiss people's asses and everything else. And you just want to get on the buy and buy. Oh, I'm grateful to have that white job and having a white wife and having all this stuff. I'm like, wait a second. You should fight for your people. Or, do something. Or you have race hustlers like the Black Lives Matter lady who said we're Marxists, but then you're gonna buy a $1 billion house in a white community and stuff. It's like you literally profiting off of black death. And it's like, what are you doing? There's lack of male leadership, lack of strong leadership. Because if we had strong leadership, we wouldn't be in this situation. We wouldn't be in this mess. But we got a lot of weak ass Negroes who just want to bow down and kiss the white man and everything else. And they just want to just tuck their tail between their legs, and that's all they want to do. And I'm just like, you can't be doing that. You gotta, support your own businesses, support your own community and stuff like that. Have a backbone. I saw something the other day where it was like the Congress, the Black Caucus, basically about Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they were trying to they dancing, it looked like they shucking and jiving in this one video, but they ain't talking about building it up and turning it into a Black Wall Street. They not demanding nothing. I'm like, why are you not demanding nothing? You happy for a holiday, but you won't talk about Tulsa, Oklahoma, or hell, you won't even talk about reparations. You'll just sit there and just kiss people's ass. I was like, what are you doing? Get up and fight for your people.
I don't mean to cut you off right there. And I know you said that we don't really got black strong leadership right now, which we don't on a large scale, but we do have somebody right now who is for us. He's just really highly censored. I don't know if you know a man by the name of Reza Islam. Do you know anybody know who that is?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
I don't know my whole background on him, but from what I follow, I follow him on socials. He got a little website. He's probably the only one that's actually on a consistent basis is actually speaking out for us as kinfolk. So I would say that he's probably the only one, unfortunately. But we are lacking because like you said, in the cancel culture as well. Because when you speak out, like if I go speak some real shit, like on my Facebook or my Instagram right now, that shit's getting flagged. It's definitely getting flagged in a matter of probably less than an hour or two. And then, people, and it's crazy because, I could, if it's some black shit, I'm talking about some black shit, I expect a white person to, oppose it and be like, that's not true. You know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. I can expect that. But like you said, it's just different when it's a black person. I'm just looking at them like, do you hear yourself right now?
Yeah.
Are you looking up in the mirror and saying like like, what the fuck you talking about? And like, you said, like, we kind of beating it over the neck a little bit, but it's the sense of, like you said, complacency. Like you know, oh, we can finally drink at the same water fountain. Oh shit, we done came a long way, boy.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, thank massa.
God, we got a bunch of Uncle Ruckuses running around here, man.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it is, and it's just. I feel like that's what it ties into. You, I think. Well, I had a debate with both of y'all on this. It was like, with this whole like. I feel like it's just this feminist movement that ties in it too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the feminist movement, they couldn't really move white men at the time. So I think the feminist movement, what they did is like they kind of clout chase off of other issues, and they use them to weaponize them against people that stand in their way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like the feminist movement is the Me Too movement. I feel like the Me Too movement ties into a lot of this because for the Me Too movement, it was harder to light on men in general. So black men, they got lied on, like with a white woman, but it's like any woman or any just person, they can lie on you now and they can damage your character, damage your reputation. It's like they tell you to shut the fuck up about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't like that. I've seen it too long because I've seen that with the Me Too movement, I saw how it took out prominent people because they wouldn't basically cater or crumble the pressure to what they wanted them to believe. And I feel like that ties into with the cancel culture is that I see what Deshaun Watson was going on with him is that this black man, he asked for a trade and he went against the white men. Now all of a sudden they planted all these stories saying that he did this and that to these women.
Mm-hmm.
And it's people are believing it. Like I said, allegation is an allegation. And that's how I feel. It's like, if you have an allegation, that's what the law tells you. If an allegation is out against you, you have the right to defend yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if an allegation is out on you, that person, they can't assume that you're guilty until proven innocent. You're innocent until proven guilty. But I feel like with the court of public opinion in the media, what they do is hype up a lot of shit using moral rule to where they have people in their feelings to making everybody think you're guilty before you even have a date in court. And that's a problem I have. And it's called mob rule. And that's the same shit that's the same energy that got Emmett Till killed.
Mm-hmm.
Is that people get all of their feelings, get all riled up, the way they take action themselves instead of letting people face their day in court. Specifically black men get their day in court to defend themselves so we can get the truth. And I feel like that's where cancel culture goes in. It's like you get canceled before you can even defend yourself. You get canceled before your day in court.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I think if you work on a job or anywhere, before an investigation is taken out, you should still have your job. You should still be able to go on daily until it is more information and evidence that you did something.
Yeah.
Then you should be put on leave. But I don't like how they automatically, something comes out, well, we got to put this person on leave because we don't want to cave in the pressure. We don't want that bad publicity on us. And that's why I feel like that's what goes on too in the communities and the society is that there's lack of loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
And that lack of loyalty comes from people, they being scared there's something that's going to be done to them. They being scared that they're not going to be looked at in the same way. And that's what I really have a problem with. And I feel like even tying into what's going on is like me and Keith and me and Daniel, we had a debate on like this whole situation with the Lil Nas X thing. Is that when we talk about things like this, is that people they automatically they want to say, well, you're homophobic.
Yeah, you against gay people. You hate gay people.
Yeah, no, it's not the case. I don't hate anybody. I don't have a problem with gay people. I know a lot of gay people that I'm cool with. But my problem with it is we should not be pushing this shit on our kids.
Mm-hmm.
I be pushing this shit in the community like it's just, well, it's normal, and being straight is abnormal. And that's the rage. Is that I feel like when you speak out on it, people want to cancel you. People want to say shit and call you names, and they want to yell at you, but they don't want you to actually have an opinion. And I feel like you can disagree anything. You can disagree with me. I don't care. But let me have my opinion. And that's what I feel is like in society is they try to make people feel like they shouldn't have an opinion anymore. And it's like, it's nothing wrong with me having a fucking opinion. This is my First Amendment right. I feel like people, they want to censor people, like Keith said, because they have an opinion. And I feel like, well, I saw an interview with the Breakfast Club with Lil Boozy, and he was talking about that. And people was telling him, he's like, the Breakfast Club, what they basically did on that interview was they asked him the same questions over and over, but they asked it in a different way to see if he's going to change his answer. And he stood by what he said.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem, too, in the community, is that people are not standing by what they believe. People is going along to get along.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just, if you know it's right. And a lot of people I talk to in private, they all agree. More people than you. You know, even certain gay people, they agree with you on this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
On this getting out of control. But you got people, they too scared to speak out on it because they feel like people are going to bully them. They're going to get death threats. They feel like they're going to get censored, canceled.
Yeah.
And I feel like if we don't keep speaking out, it's going to be abnormal to be straight.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to have a voice. And that's how I feel with this, is that people, they scared of being canceled, but you're going to be canceled permanently if you don't stop.
Yeah.
With kids, I think it's being pushed in the black community because, just like I said with the feminist movement, the same thing. It's being pushed in the black community because it's making you question were you born a man or woman.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, if they question that, what they do is they make the women masculine, they make the men masculine.
Yeah, make them feminine.
They do that on purpose so where they can make the black women feel like, oh, they don't need a man. They have material stuff. Where they can use other alternatives to satisfy themselves to replace it as a man. So that they do. So what happens is they confuse the black women.
Mm-hmm.
So some of them, they go and play around. They don't know if they want to be with a man or a woman. So what they do, they go and get a gay woman that's like that dresses up like a man.
Mm-hmm.
They try to use them and manipulate them to get what they want. So all of a sudden, after they be in a long-term relationship with them, and then all of a sudden they just be like, well, I'm done with you. I don't have to deal with this shit anymore. And then they go back with a dude. And then that gay person is left broken and destroyed. With the men, is like they had the men running around wearing dresses and pretending they pregnant just so they can and using them as a pawn.
Mm-hmm.
Another man, young black men, you can be this, you can be that. Don't let nobody tell you you can't live your sexuality, live your truth. Which in fact, that may not even be your truth. You may not even want to be gay.
Mm-hmm.
May not even be, but you see that, and that's being pushed on you as being normal.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're seeing there's not a lot of straight black men out here. So when the straight black men, you have a lot of them, they going along with the shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ones who speak out, they get canceled. They get called all kind of names. And it's like, why the fuck are we acting like this? When 5 or 10 years ago, you would have heard a lot of people loud and proud saying, no, this is not right. Like I said, if you want to be gay, that's your choice. I don't have a problem with that. You want to be straight, that's your choice. But don't make the choice for me. Don't make the choice for other people.
That's very true. So I guess we on that Lil Nas topic. Now look, I was talking to Tyler about this, and he might talk to you about it. But he posted that little picture or whatnot, and I posted on my Instagram, and I said, "Hey, yo, like if you okay with this, like you gotta unfollow me. Like I'm just gonna keep it a ban." And most people, looked at it. They said like, "Yeah, both looked at it." But I had this one girl from my hometown. And she told me, she was like, "Oh, why does it such bother you?" And I said, I got a problem with a black man who has a big following, got millions of followers, you gonna post up in a maternity shoot as a grown black man with a dress on and just think it's okay. And she was like, you got a problem with that? I was like, I 100% absolutely do. She was like, well, shit. If you got a problem, I gotta unfollow you. I was like, well, that's what the post says, so you know. Like, and the thing is, like you said, like they've been having this agenda they've been having. It's not just Lil Nas, but you know, he is a big, you know, he's gotten very big as of recently. But you know, this agenda, you know, being like, you know, man, got to be unmasked and whatnot. You know, it's been going around for a while. You know, we had a lot of people that we know we probably grew up in life were doing it. You know, Martin Lawrence was in a dress for crying out loud, but like in 4 movies, unfortunately. No hindsight, but you know, it's just like I've been seeing it get pushed. Like, you know, it's just like you said, like it's a lot of the stuff 5-10 years ago would not be deemed normal. Like everything that's being deemed normal is just weird. Like, and it's funny that like it's not being deemed weird because I was on Facebook and I forget where it was. They had this library. It just got open like probably like 3 years ago down in Indiana, and they got like an LGBT section of the library, which I'm not against. You know, you can have it. You know, everybody needs representation or whatever. But like, they got this book, and it's like this girl, and she's looking like into the mirror of this boy, like getting a haircut at the barbershop. And the title of the book is "Am I Really a Girl?" And I looked at it. I think like when they open up the page, it's the girl like she's going into the barbershop to get a haircut so she can be a boy. And it's in the library. I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, yo, like, you can, like you said, you can be gay, man. If you're gonna be gay, you can be gay. That is what it is. But like, it's a children's book. Like, it's 5 or 6 years old. How are you gonna explain? Like, that's like a kid gonna come home to they pops or they dad, especially in the black community, and be like, hey, yo, dad, I read this book. I don't know if I'm actually really a boy for. I think I might be trapped in a boy's body, but I'm really a girl. Like that's just not normal. Like, you're 6 years old. You don't even know what you want to eat for dinner later. How you gonna tell me like thinking time about something? Yeah, I think I'm or such and such. Look, I feel if you want to look when you're a grown man and you're 18, 19, you're out the house. You know, you're in college, you're on your own. If you want to say I'm not really a boy, I'm really a girl. You know, I can't really do nothing. You know, you're a grown man. You gonna make your decisions. But I feel like I'm gonna say it's when you under my roof. Up until the point that I make the decisions for you, you're not about to be like 7 years old coming to me talking about some, yeah, dad, I think I'm gay, or yeah, I think I'm really a woman for real. You don't know what you are. Shit, I didn't know shit when I was 7 years old. So there ain't no way you're gonna sit up here and tell me at 7 that you're fully gay. Have you even had a relationship or even like talked to another woman? Mm-hmm. It just don't make sense. And the thing is, like, the people are gonna come out here and say, you know, like, oh, you're homophobic because you don't want to such and such. I'll be real. Like, we know for a fact it is way different being gay being white than it is the gay being black. Okay? Yeah. 100%. You know, you can go home and you can be little Jimmy and go home and they'll come and hug you and whatnot and be like, oh yeah, son, you know, you're gay, you know, it's whatever. And truly it is whatever, but you know, you and the black community, and it may be detrimental, maybe you can have your opinion on it, but you ain't gonna come home at 14 as a freshman in high school and just say that to your parents. It's just different. Now, I don't agree that, like, you know, you should be about just people, because, you know, in the black community, you can get kicked out for something to say something like that. Or like there's violence in the community. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't make sense that like, and the thing is though, like I've never posted about that picture, and I know like Megan Thee Stallion, she had her little was it the Grammys? She had like the provocative performance or whatever, something like that. Yeah. So they both had because Lil Nas had that little video or whatever on his prison video, whatever. I think it's Industry Baby, something like that. I heard about it and I looked at the first 15 seconds. I cut the video off immediately. But someone came to me because I was watching the video. They said, "Were you watching that video?" I said, "Yeah, but I can't get with that." They said, "No, you got a problem if it was a female." I'm like, well, first of all, I'm straight. So if I'm straight, I'm gonna watch some straight people do some straight people shit. And if you're gay, you don't want to see. Yeah, you're gay. You don't want to see straight people doing something. So you're gonna watch something straight. But it's a matter of like I said, like Lil Nas has performance. I think he also had performance too, was very provocative. And I said, I don't support that. And I'm like, they came and they said, well, do you support, Megan Thee Stallion doing her thing at the Grammys? I'm like, shit, hell no. I don't want to see that shit either.
I'm like, on my point on that, I'm going to just piggyback real quick off the Megan Thee Stallion. I want to see it, but I feel like the kids shouldn't have to be forced to see it. That's how I feel. The Grammys, that's supposed to be kind of like a family event. That's the problem I have. If you want to put that shit on BET Uncut or something, I'm all for it. I watch the shit all day. But it's like people shouldn't be forced to watch certain things or be exposed to stuff they don't want to see, like you said.
Mm-hmm. Like you shouldn't be forced to see it. I remember I saw it with the whole Megan Thee Stallion thing. Sorry to cut you off, but it was just disgusting. Like my thing is like kids are watching that. Like you can't just people are watching that. You can't just be sitting up there promoting that provocative stuff. It's like no, you gotta remember kids are watching that. The music awards, they want to see their favorite artist perform. You're gonna do that mess. Like come on now, it's getting out of control.
And that's the problem I have with both is that it's not that they did, it's that you're doing it on a family that was supposed to be like a family environment. If your kids is watching it. If it was just adults doing that shit, okay, you can do it.
Definitely.
It is. And I feel like people have their preferences, and that's another thing that ties into it. Everybody has their preferences, but people want to make it that, well, you're this, you're sexist, you're homophobic. It's when you disagree with something, because I remember it was during the last year during Easter, Lizzo, she ended up twerking on Diddy video, and he's like, nah, it's a family and shit. It's a family thing on his Instagram Live when she started twerking. And people got mad, and they was like, Drea started twerking, and people didn't say nothing. I mean, yeah, you got a point to a certain extent, but it's like, it's a lot of things tied into that. It's money, everything. But you may have some people that want to see Lizzo twerk, but they may not been on that Instagram Live. Or Diddy, it's his Instagram Live. If he don't want to see her twerk, he don't have to. And Drea, people may want to see her twerk, some people may not. But it's just a person's preference. My problem is when it's a person's, people get mad when you say you have a preference. Mm-hmm. It's just like a girl. A girl, she can say, I like this type of guy, that type of guy, and nobody has a problem. But when a guy say, man, I don't like big chicks, I don't like this type of chick, it's always a problem. Or even with the LGBT community now, like, you have a lot of transgenders and stuff that they're trying to find somebody to be in a relationship with, but they mad because straight guys don't want to be with them. And it's like, a straight guy, you call him homophobic because he don't want to be with you. He don't have to be with you. That's their preference. And that's another thing with the LGBT community too. I feel like is if you're an LGBT, it should be hard that you have to disclose that. I'm talking about like if you go on a club or something, you should, or you're in a relationship with a person, you should not be able to mislead them and have them think you're a woman or you're a man, and then they find out later that you get mad. You shouldn't be able to do that shit. I feel like if people, what needs to happen now is that people need to know what the hell is going on. A lot of stuff. And they should be able to choose based on that. It shouldn't be like, well, you get backlash if you have an opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I don't know about y'all keep up on this, maybe it's just me, but I also think a lot of satanic-ish stuff is being a lot of guys too. Like we said, like with Lil Nas, he had that other music video with him with the devil and shit. And everybody, the crazy thing is that, I didn't comment on it, but I see a lot of people comment on it. They were like, it's not really what you think. It was like, he can do what he want to do. I'm like, such and such. I'm like, okay, sure. You want to go twerk on the devil and be gay? Go ahead, twerk on the devil and be gay. But don't put it out there like this is something normal. Like this is quite literally the devil. Like he literally had horns on, and it's not even just Lil Nas. Like I was on Hulu, they had this little commercial, whatever. I don't know if you've seen it. Like it's like the devil, but he's like really tall. He's promoting some kind of I think it's some kind of phone line or something like that. And I'm just looking at the TV, and I'm like, yo, like this is really the devil telling me to go buy Sprint or something like that. I'm like, it just doesn't make sense. It does, or like when I think it was Beyonce, but everybody like, it was talking about being on demon time, talking about being on demon time, right? Such and such. Why is it normal to say that you're being on demon time? Like, it's quite literally should be the opposite. It's literally satanic.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I just had to put it out there because I feel like they're trying to coincide it and on both sides. Like, and it doesn't make sense to me personally. I just had to throw that out there though.
Hey, I'm glad you said that because I agree with that too. I had heard about the Lil Nas X satanic video, but I haven't seen it or nothing. But I've seen the thing where you was talking about where they put demon time, and I'm like, that's the problem with people is that I think I said it earlier is that we got a lot of followers, but we don't have there's not a lot of people that's trying to lead and set their own trend. It's like, why the fuck are you doing that? That's dumb. Why? Since when has it become cool to say you're the devil or that you're on demon time?
Mm-hmm.
That shit is really demonic. That shit should really scare people. And that's going on. And the fact that you got people following that shit and acting like that shit is cool is just really crazy. It's just showing like where shit is at now.
Mm-hmm.
And what the fuck was I gonna say on the other thing? What's my train of thought on it?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say like this whole agenda. I agree with both of y'all in terms of this agenda. The agenda's being pushed. It's satanic. Like with the whole Lil Nas X, he had a sneaker line, then he had the video. I'm just like, okay, you're doing too much, man. You're just a pawn. I don't even blame. I'm like, it's not even you. It's just you. The industry pushing that. They pushing that mess. Pushing this whole thing and just like, oh, well, it's this. Well, it's the gay agenda. Well, I'm like, yo, come on, guys. We all know it's satanic. Stop it. And just like this whole thing is getting out of control. People getting all riled up. You can't have an opinion, and it's like people can't express themselves. They can't be them natural selves. They just want to shut them down and just be like, oh no, you have a different opinion than what society and what we said, then you're gonna get canceled. And I'm just like, that's a problem. You silence people's opinion and their right to speak. Everybody has a right to speak. You may disagree with them, but they have that right to speak and express themselves.
Yeah, and that's my problem. Is like if I was going out like right now, if I went up on the social media and I said go and kill all these people or go do this and that, and I start putting hate speech like go kill Mexicans, go kill whites, or go kill you can kill some blacks. They wouldn't say a damn thing about it. But if I put saying something about Lil Nas X, they'll flag it or they try to take it down. That's the problem I have with stuff. Is like if you're gonna set a rule, be fair across the board. Don't tell white supremacists and stuff that they can do what the fuck they want on the internet, but you'll tell everybody else to shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's another thing too I want to talk about is that have you noticed that they've been promoting like in a lot of things they've like a lot of black women are getting a lot of high positions in society, but it's like with black men they're left at the bottom. Like you see a lot of black women CEOs now, but it's like with black men, they don't get the opportunities. And I think it ties into the agenda too, is that where you want to make black men extinct. That's what I think the Me Too movement is about, and even the feminist movement is that y'all want to, by any means, you will put a female in a position to even to dominate the world. Just for your agenda, black or white. And I remember me and Gary had a debate about I think it was about a year ago, the Harriet Tubman being on money.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I don't have a problem with Harriet Tubman being on money. Is that why don't we got a lot of black leaders that's coming on. Why can't we put them on there first? Or we put them both on it? It's why in a country where white men have been all over the money, you don't want to put a black man on it, you want to put a black woman on it.
Mm-hmm.
And people are all right with that. And people get mad and say, well, you're a sexist. And you say that, no, I'm not a sexist. I'm probably one of the most pro-women men out here.
Mm-hmm.
Especially black women. But it's like this. We got to be fair. When are we going to start acting like black men? Stop acting like black men didn't do anything. You had a lot of black leaders out here. You had Martin Luther King, Frederick Douglass, Huey P. Newton, Booker T. Washington, my boy Fred Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's a lot of them. Man, don't hurt yourself. No, not that. You just had John Lewis, you had all these people, and it's like, y'all want to put Harriet Tubman. I don't have a problem with her being on it, but put a black man on it first. It's like, stop pushing the agenda. And I feel like when you say something about that, is they try to censor you on that too. They try to talk over you, or they try to discredit what you're saying with it. And it's like, they don't have it. This is what it is. It's like, it's hard to explain with this. It's been going on for so many generations to where we're actually like the first generation actually being hit with it.
Mm-hmm.
Noticing it. To where even you have some men out here that's speaking out on it, but you have some men they scared because they feel like they're gonna be canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it all kind of ties into. It's like, when the hell are we gonna stop being a society that goes along just to get along?
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is where the evolution of black people has to come into. If we're gonna evolve, we have to be better than we were yesterday, today, so we can survive tomorrow. But I think in the black community, the thing we struggle with is that, I hear it all the time, is that black people, especially elders, they be like, well, when we was this age, we did this and that. Why can't y'all do that? Or why not like this? And it's like, it's a different time. And it's like, you shouldn't want your grandkids and kids to be doing the same thing you did.
Mm-hmm.
You want them to be in the same position as you or worse. You should want them to be better than you were,
Mm-hmm.
or in a better situation.
And surpass them, yeah.
Embracing the wealth. It's like, you want to leave a legacy. You don't want to just leave debt or leave nothing. And I think that's what goes on too. Like, I want to talk about, I'm tying this into gentrification. Because I look at it around our school. If you look at 5 years ago actually, 5 years ago when we arrived at Smith, you saw a lot of black people living in these houses. Some of the houses were run down, some of them was all right, some of them was nice. And now if you drive down the street now from where I lived at in Mosaic, they're building condos. A lot of whites are buying it, and they're buying it for probably like half the price that the blacks had it. And they tore down the bridge. They building like trolleys and all this, trolley trains. They got rid of the Stanley Dollar and they put Dollar Tree there. And it's like, problem I have, and they put different businesses around there. And the problem I have with it is that, why the hell is nobody outraged about this? Why the hell is people just sitting there like, it's a good thing?
Mm-hmm.
Welcoming these people into your neighborhood, because you know you're not going to be there soon. And I feel like with the school, it's like, why the hell y'all allowing this to happen? This ties into what you and Keith said too, is that with the black people, we just sit there and they just let stuff happen. It's like, why? Yeah.
like you said, like the complacency is getting out of hand. People think that they can't really do something. Well, in reality, like you said, you want to leave a legacy, right? So the legacy of our ancestors is, some of them were enslaved, some of them fought for civil rights. So that their legacy is that they were fighters, right? Fighting, they did the whole thing. They did the sit-ins. They got beat on, hit with dogs and stuff. Our legacy right now, in terms of the issue we talk about, is that we're really complacent, right? We really allow all the stuff, like you said, the gentrification and whatnot. Why hasn't anybody came in and said, whoa, why are we making this affordable, for black people? This is a black school. It's just a lot of things we can complacent with, complacency with the reality I was talking about. What's that gonna do? How is that gonna do nothing? Shit. How you gonna know if we don't do it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just we just, like you said, we're scared. Real scared. Like shit. We can be scared, but being scared ain't gonna do nothing. But just when we have kids, I think the goal is when we have kids, I want to be able to say, look my son in the face and be like, yo, if we still have these problems or if they're demonized, I want to be able to say, yo, son, yeah, I was out there, we was out there holding hands or whatnot. The police came, we got sent to jail and whatnot. They're gonna be, that's something I can actually respect. Mm-hmm. But if we just go on, right about now, like you said, there's no real leadership right about now. So everything that's going on, we look at it on social media. And the thing about it is that the thing with social media is that, while it is one of the great good blessings in disguises, we should be using it way more than this, because we're talking about black businesses. Like you said, it takes nothing to board. All you got to do is click share to my post.
Yep.
Yeah. Or Facebook, or just repost the link. But the thing is that we're just not taking advantage of the boom that's happened in 15 years. I don't know why do we still have some of the same problems that we still have.
Lack of complacency and lack of leadership, for one. That's why we still have the same problem. We never kept the strong leadership in the home and stuff. And that's why these agendas are falling into place, and then they're pushing it on the black community. We had strong male leaders, we wouldn't be in this situation. But yeah, guys, so my question to you guys is going forward, this is the closing arguments, going forward, what do you think should be done about this whole situation, this whole problems with Lil Nas X and the whole agendas and being pro-black and businesses and what have you?
I'll go first. I would say, as far as Lil Nas goes, really, I'm not going to pay him no attention. I know I don't know if he knows it, but he probably does. He's a puppet to further a higher agenda, which if you're looking around, it's obviously working, But I think that agenda also kind of ties into the depopulation agenda. I think we all know about that too. They're trying to push, if you're gay, you can't reproduce. Yeah. Cannot reproduce a child. And you can say, well, you could adopt. I mean, shit, yeah, but most people want to have their own children. We want to be able to reproduce. So that's one of the ways to try to depopulate. We could go on a different topic about that, but that's a different thing. As far as being pro-black, I feel like you said, we don't really have that much leadership. We got a lot of complacency. So I feel like as we're young, we got the health, we got time. We gotta be the ones, not just us around. We gotta be the ones to step up and be like, hey, yo, in regards to Lil Nas shit, hey, this shit's not cool. Shit's weird. We got to be able to use the platforms that we have, even if we're not even on our platforms. If I'm out, and the thing is, like you said, it's complacency. You can't, if you go at your job and say some shit like that, they gonna tap you and be like, hey, can't be saying that, bro. You gotta shut the fuck up. We gotta be able to rebel. That's how most of the stuff that we've done didn't get to this point, as far as being integrated and stuff like that. We had to break laws. We had to literally fight. We literally had to do all this stuff just to get where we are. And the thing is, we still got a long ways to go. So as far as being pro-black, I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna support my friends' businesses. I'm gonna try to, shop at certain areas if I can, if it's in my reach. But I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my voice, and that's probably the best thing that you can do. You have a voice, you have a platform, so you gotta use it to what you want to do.
Oh yeah, Keith, don't you have a business?
Thanks for reminding me about that. Yeah. Take some time. They can support. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, tell them about the business, man.
Okay, so it's not actually my business, but before I'll tell you that, before the business is, I read a quote yesterday by this doctor. His name is Dr. Alan Greenberg, and he said, as a retired physician, I can honestly say that unless you are in a serious accident, that your best chance of living to a ripe old age is to avoid doctors and hospitals and learn nutrition, herbal medicine, and other forms of natural medicine, unless you are fortunate enough to have a naturopathic physician available. He said almost all drugs are toxic and are designed only to treat symptoms and not to cure anybody. So we have that. I think we know that. But the business that I was going to promote that I have just recently tried is called Choke. So it's spelled CHOQ. And yeah, go ahead. I got it on Instagram. I got it, whatever. But Choke is basically this company that gives you, supplements and vitamins that they have tested for. They tested on 1 million times to make sure they're putting the right stuff in there. It's purely organic. It's non-GMO, and it's been clinically studied. So go ahead and tap that in. If you look up Choke, like either on Instagram, whatever platform you have, or you just type it into your computer, you'll find out about it. They serve a variety of products. Right about now, I got a product from Choke. It's called Choke Daily, and so basically, it's a testosterone booster, but it also gives you it promotes clean energy. It gives you collagen synthesis for healthy bones, joints, and skin. And it gives you healthy adrenaline function. They have 1 million products to choose from. It's a little expensive, but we know to be healthy a little bit takes, you got to spend some bread. But this, I found it on Instagram because I was from one of my other accounts that I follow, and they were promoting it. So I just wanted to see what they were talking about. And so I went and bought one. I've tried it a little bit. I haven't seen a real difference yet, but the guy that promoted it to me said you should give it about 60 days to fully evaluate to see if it works for you, if it doesn't. So I would go on ahead and promote that a little bit. We as humans, if you're trying to get healthy, you gotta live a healthy lifestyle. You gotta eat the right food. You gotta eat the right vitamins. You gotta work out. You gotta drink water. You gotta do all that. So you might as well go on ahead and buy some supplements that are actually natural and designed to actually help you. Call Choke, boys, CHOQ, and they'll tell you about themselves, where to contact them, and how they test stuff and what's in their supplements. They'll tell you the whole thing.
CHOQ. All right, I will definitely take a look at that, Mr. Keith. Yep, it was been a pleasure having you on this podcast, brother. Mr. Kid Clutch, it's always a pleasure to have you on here, brother. Thank you for coming on here for the season premiere, my brother. And remember, I want to tell all my people. Go ahead.
It's a pleasure being on here with both of my boys on here. We should do this more often, but I'm glad you have this platform to educate, and because I think it's a lot of bullshit out here. It's a lot of stupid shit, a lot of ignorance. So it's always good to have some educational and have some fun shit that makes sense.
Yep. It's always good to be pro-black. I want to tell my followers out here, be pro-black. Support your own business. Avoid the scammers. And above all, have some self-respect. Know yourself, know your worth, and enjoy yourself. Black Power, and this Dab Dan signing off. Listen to this outro music.